My name is Ron Burgundy, and this is my co-anchor.
Doesn't really matter. We are here on the set to bring you an interview by Bob West.
Okay, Bob, you're on.
I'm here with the soldier boy that was pulled from his family to serve in this dreadful war, Billy Joe. Do you think you'll win this war?
I might not really know, but I hope so.
Do you think you'll defeat the British?
Well, that's not for me to decide. And anyway...
Back to the set!
I guess that answers this question.
We have 4 more interviews.
Is Bob ready for another interview? Does it really matter?
I don't know. Does it really matter? Oh, duh. That was a mistake. I'm sorry. Here we are for another interview coming up from Fort McCord.
I'm here at the battlefield again, risking my life to interview a nurse, this time with an injured Indian. How much people have you had today?
Hold on, Bob.
Ow! It really hurt.
I'm pretty sure we had about 200 casualties.
Wow. They nurse died here.
Are we on? Are we on? Oh my gosh. Hold on. Okay. Oops, sorry about that. My mistake. We have 2 more interviews to bring you. One from a farmer boy and his wife and their daughter. Hold on. Wait. What? Oh my gosh. No. He's dead?
Ron, what's wrong?
Our interview guy just was shot and killed instantly.
Oh my gosh. Is he okay?
It doesn't really matter. Anyways.
Well, we have another interview coming to you.
You're on.
Ron, I'm here with the farmer family, and his farmer's wife and his little kid. What do you feel about going into Matilda?
I feel that I'll never see my family again.
Oh, that's bad. What are your thoughts about this?
I think they'll be safe because George Washington will be leaving.
Oh, okay. Okay, little kid, what do you think about your father going into the militia?
What's a militia?
It's an army.
What's an army?
It's where your people go off to fight for what they think is right. Do you have something to say about that?
I don't know.
Okay. Well, back to you, Ron.
I'm sorry about that, but that was not our real interview person. The one backup called in sick, and here is, she just put an ice pack on. She's okay. She'll be fine. Don't worry about her. And she's going to interview an Indian lady from the battlefield.
I'm so sorry to hear about Bob's death. But thanks to him, I got this nice job. Oh, sorry, Bob. Well, anyway, an Indian lady. What do you think? Do you think you'll win this war?
This war was kind of unexpected to me, but I hope we will win. I'm pretty sure we will win because we were teamed up with the French.
Why did you team up with the French?
Well, mainly because the French treated us with respect, and the British treated us like poop.
Why did the British treat you like, poop?
Well, the British killed and tortured us until we gave up our land, but the French traded with us and gained a strong relationship. That is why we teamed up with them.
Okay then, that's all we need to know. Back to you, Ron.
We are on to do the weather and to tell you guys about the mapping of the war.
Okay. The British territory is the Tan region, covering Boston and New York, which would be here and down here.
The French covered the bottom part of Canada and some of the western Michigan, which would be where she's pointing to. Surprisingly, there was a lot of disputed area, meaning that the land was not claimed by neither of the groups.
But later on, the French had 2 victories, one at Fort Sequence and the other one at Fort Necessity. Fort Sequence and Fort Necessity. The British victories were up at North Montreal,
Montreal,
Quebec,
Quebec,
and Louisbourg.
and victories at the forts were being made of many of the French. The red arrows symbolized the movements and how they made their attacks and victories.
Okay. The black dots represent the cities, and the important city was Alexandria, as where he is pointing. Up here. Which was where the movement of the French was placed. The squares are the forts and either of the British or French owned.
Okay, that's all we have tonight on Channel 47 News, and this is Ron Burgundy,
And doesn't really matter.
signing out to you.
Frank Anchor and
Jolly Roger. There was lots of news with the French and Indian War. We will start by interviewing an injured militiaman, straight from the battlefields. Hello, Winston.
Hello, Roger.
How is the war going, Winston? It seems horrible out there.
It's been a pretty bloody battle. We've lost quite a few good men to those horrible French and Indians.
How did your leg get injured, John? It
Well,
looks very bloody.
You see, we were just walking through the woods one day, going up to Fort Desquie, and out of nowhere, some Indians and French come out and started attacking us. I was one of those lucky ones who got away with just leg and energy. But the rest of my troops got killed, unfortunately, and my best friend was right beside me, and he took a musket ball straight to the head. It was pretty sad.
Where was this battle?
Well, we were on our way up to Fort Desquie in Louisburg, and when we got there were Indians and French attacking us. And I got lucky, and one of the troops from inside the fort pulled me in without getting killed.
Sorry, Winston, but we're going to cut this interview short. There's breaking news. I repeat, breaking news from the battlefield in Lewisburg. It appears that Chief Half Arrow has died. Let's go to the camera and let's call it with Robert Fishface.
Well, I think I'd be pretty proud, because he is the chief and I killed him, so yeah, I'd be pretty damn proud. So, yeah.
Okay, I see.
So,
Killer Chief! It's all from BKA News. No, wait, what is that? Incoming!
Roger, and Frank Anchor saying good day and good night.
I'm Roger, here with my partner Billy McBilly, and this is the Evening News. Today we are going to talk about the French and Indian War. This conflict is between the colonies France and Great Britain. This took place in 1754 to 1763 on this location in North America. This resulted in the Treaty of Paris, which was a British victory.
This war has been 9 years long. The outcome was one of the most significant developments. We have Chucky at the scene of war during an interview.
Hello, General Michelle. Do you think you are going to win the war?
Yes, I think the Brits are going to win.
How many are on your side?
Enough to win.
Are you going to get shot?
I hope not.
The cause of this war. The cause for this war is using trading posts and forts for both the British and the French claimed the vast territory between the Appalachian Mountains and the Mississippi River, from the Great Lakes of Gulf of Mexico, known as the Hell Country. Both European countries ignored Native American claims to the land in order to pursue their beaver pellet economy.
Newfoundland Grange banks were fertile fishing grounds and covered by both sides. The conclusion of this war would see France keep only the islands of St. Pierre and Miquelon, allowing them access to the Grand Banks to this day.
The war took place in North America. This picture here shows where the war took place in northeastern North America.
Okay, right here, all these little stars means the British and French fought. There were Montreal they fought in, Quebec, and Louisburg they fought.
Chucky is at the scene of the war live. Here's a video of fight.
And fought both sides, but mainly from the French. The first major event was in 1754 with Major George Washington, which was just 21 years of age at the time, was sent to negotiate boundaries with the French, who did not give up their forts. Washington led the group of Virginian troops to comfort the French and Fort Disguise, which is now present-day Pittsburgh.
British and colonists won.
It resulted in a Treaty of Paris. This is NewsCenter 8, and that was the Avengers. We have a picture of the war right now. The British took victory in a Treaty of Paris.
Hello and welcome to Channel 18 and 1 The News.
Reporting to you, I'm Janelle Heinler.
And I'm Adam Lick-a-Frozen Pole.
Today's weather forecast consists of a high of 96 and a low of 46 later tonight, and with a little bit of rain.
Also later tonight, there will be ice chunks as big as force falling from the sky, smashing houses to the ground and smelling them to pieces.
Nah, Adam, let's don't get too carried away. You're going to scare the people.
Anyways, today we are looking back on the French and Indian War and are seeing what's going on right this very moment.
The colonists started to call it the French and Indian War because they were fighting two enemies, the French and their native allies.
Also, the French and Indian War is one part of a larger power struggle between England and France for control of world trade and power of the seas.
In the very beginning of the war, the governor of Massachusetts announced to the Colonial Assembly that the French were on their way, making themselves masters of the continent.
Then during some of the earlier stages of the war, the British colonists fought the French with little support from Great Britain.
Then the government in London started to intervene.
Soon the French forces were driven out of Fort Duquesne.
Now that brings us to our story today with Bubba and Jukebox. Over to you guys.
Hello, we're Bubba Leotard and Jukebox Hero. The fighting in America is now helping to start a new war in Europe that has been known as the 7-Year War.
Britain is now declaring a war on France, previously making alliance of the Persia.
The first years of war have been disastrous of the British and the American colonies.
The French troops have captured a lot of British forts, and Native American allies are beginning to raid farms from New York to Pennsylvania. They are also killing settlers, burning family farmhouses and crops. They are driving many families back towards the coast.
French were forced from Canada and they captured British forts at Lake Ontario and Lake Georgia.
Oh, Bubba, I think I'm getting somewhere. Yes, we have breaking news. Let's go to Carissa at the scene of our breaking news. Carissa, over to you.
Breaking news! The capital of New France, which is Quebec, had been attacked. It is said it was to be an impossible attack, but British General James Wolfe found the way. We'll have more on the story later at 5. Janelle and Adam, back to you.
This concludes the 12 o'clock news. Please tune in at 5 for more.
Third news at 5 o'clock. Now it is time for our update on breaking news story with Carissa, which she gave us earlier. Over to you.
Now earlier today there was an attack on Quebec. It all happened when one of Wolfe's scouts spotted a poorly guarded path up the back of the cliff. The British overwhelmed the guards posted on the path and then headed up the path during the night. The British troops assembled outside the fortress of Quebec on a field called the Plains of Abraham. There they were surprised and defeated the French army. James Wolfe died in the battle, and French commander Marquis also died the day later.
We have another breaking news story coming live from Julie.
I have just been informed about the recently signed Treaty of Paris. Treaty of Paris has France being permitted to keep some of its sugar-producing islands in the West Indies, but they are being forced to give Canada and most of its islands east of the Mississippi River to Great Britain. From Spain, France's ally, Great Britain has gained Florida. In return, Spain is receiving French lands west of the Mississippi River, the Louisiana Territory, as well as the ports of New Orleans. That's all the information I can gather right now, but maybe one of these colonists could tell me a little bit more about what is going on right now at the moment.
Sir,
Yes.
what is going on with the Treaty of Paris right now?
Well, right now the Spanish and the British working on plans for the future of North America, while many Native Americans are still living on the lands covered by the European Agreement.
And what do you think of all this, sir?
I just wish all the stubborn fools could strike a compromise.
Okay, thank you for that interesting report on the Treaty of Paris. And this is Channel 18 and 1/3 News. See ya.
Welcome to your news for September 9, 1763.
I am Kelly Neefeld, and this is Andrea Leonard, reporting to you from our station, the Colonial 13.
Late last night, the Robinsons of Deerfield, Massachusetts were robbed. All of their livestock was either taken or slaughtered. Their barn was burned until it fell and was destroyed.
We believe that this destructive behavior is somehow connected with the Abenaki people.
Please stay on the guard and be careful of anyone in the Massachusetts area. Don't let your cows out.
We will now go to our #1 correspondent on the French and Indian War details. Straight to you, Tyler.
Okay, I'm here giving you the French and Indian War update. Some Native Americans are giving me some Native Americans fought with the English, but many others fought with the French. A very own General Braddock travels from Alexandria to Fort Desques, but he lost his battle in a great confusion with the Indians and the French, hiding and killing his troops. English troops traveled from Boston to Fort John and Fort Beansfield, and then Stress travels from Halifax to Louisburg and beats the French there. Then he travels to Quebec and wins that war. Then he travels to Montreal, and some other troops from Crown Point travel to Montreal, and some more troops travel from Fort Oswego, and they beat all the French out there in Montreal, and the French, they just retreat somewhere. Back to you, Kelly.
Thank you, Tyler.
Fort Ticonderoga has just finished completing construction.
Hopefully this fort will help Britain win this war.
This war seems like it's never going to end.
We got some breaking news here.
Looks like we have breaking news on the French and Indian War.
Come on, come on.
Finally, about time.
French and Indians are signing the Treaty of Paris with the British. This will be the end of the war.
Now to our live reporters at the scene.
Kelly and Andrea?
Jill and I are currently standing in front of the teepee that the Treaty of Paris will be signed in.
We are the first ones on the scene, and we have been granted permission to read this article. You guessed it, it's the Treaty of Paris.
As soon as this article is signed, France will be permitted to keep some of its sugar-producing islands in the West Indies.
But they will be forced to give Canada and most of its land east of the Mississippi River to Great Britain.
West of the Mississippi goes to Spain, and we get the Spanish lands of Florida.
All right.
I can almost hear the ink being signed onto the paper.
The Treaty of Paris marks the end of the French as a power in North America.
Now this great continent can be divided between us and Spain.
Our country and Spain are currently mapping out a road for the future of North America.
I wonder what the Indians will think.
Only time can tell.
Now back to Kelly and Andrew, stationed at the Colonial 13.
That was exciting.
Now all we have to do is get rid of the Indians and we'll be good to go.
I don't know if that's going to happen.
Well, you've heard it here first. The war against France has now ended.
We'll see you tomorrow on Colonial 13. Bye.
Reporting for this news flash. Thanks for tuning in to channel 2747277.
This afternoon we have a report with Tom Van Helsing, who's interviewing General Edward Braddock. So let's talk to him now.
Thomas here with the General. Hey, get back here! I'm now only standing yards away from General Edward Braddock. Let's go see what he has to say.
I need a doctor.
Oh, hey, I'm a doctor.
No, a real doctor.
No, seriously, I asked myself one day if I was a doctor and I said yes, so now I'm a doctor. So, what are you doing here?
I was sent here by Great Britain to defeat the French, but we were ambushed. Help.
Oh, well done. Looks like we lost him. But anyway, back to you, Elizabeth.
How sad. Let's pause for a moment. Okay, now we have a report with Jane Dickens, who's interviewing a native woman named Prancing Deer.
Good day, I'm James Dickens, and I'm here with Prancing Deer. I'll say, who's that infant in your arms?
It's my baby, little Fawn.
Alrighty then. Have you noticed we're in the middle of a war?
Yes, French and Indian war.
So why haven't you been shot?
I'm protected by Mother Nature.
Okay, let's talk more about this war. What's your perspective on it?
Well, us natives are with the British, but others are with the French.
Well, Don is French because I'm British. Back to you, Elizabeth.
Yes, how exciting. In other news, it turns out that London does care. London's government has decided to help us after the French's new forts, the Battle of Fort Necessity. Also, the natives burned down the Conradary's house. That has been 30 houses. Now we have William Pitt as Prime Minister. I'm sure we'll get a lot more accomplished with him. He's already captured Louisburg, Fort Frontenac, and Fort Desquet, or known as Fort Pitt. And I'm sure we'll have heard of General George Washington. But for those of you who haven't, we will interview him now.
Mary Poppins here, and I'd like to say hi.
Oh, isn't this about me, young lady?
Well, sorry, Mr. Washington. Anyways, I'm here to ask you about your perspective on this war.
Well, I think those no good French are for bad things. We need to finish this war and get back to our families and live in peace and prosperity. I'm sure we can win this as long as we keep to a good plan, like not staying in columns and rows. I told this to Braddock, but he just wouldn't listen to me. I wonder what happened to him.
Right. Anyways, please describe the battle at Fort Desquet.
That was an absolute disaster. I was so humiliated. I should have known better not to attack the French with so few of men. In my inexperience, but the French surrounded us and made us surrender, although they let us off without killing us.
I see. One last question. How did you become so famous without actually winning a battle?
Well, thank you. I'll say it just depends on who you know and whether or not they actually like you. I kind of know the editor of the paper, and he's very clever with his words. So people believe everything he says, and if you ask him to say one thing, he makes it sound even better. Yeah.
Right. I think we need to get back to Elizabeth.
Okay, thank you, Mary. We have one more interview today, and that's with Benjamin Franklin. So let's go see that now.
Okay, Jonathan here, thank you, Elizabeth. So, Benjamin, why do you think the colonists didn't accept your Albany plan?
Well, personally, I believe that it's because the British colonists think that uniting is a good idea, but when it comes to them giving up control over something, they think it's terrible. So in a way, they get distracted from the decisions beforehand, then after.
I understand. Why do you think what do you think of the war that is occurring now?
Well, I think it's a complete waste of time, a huge waste of time. We could get much more done if we just discussed everything out and debated on all the issues. Then if we couldn't agree on something, everybody could sacrifice something. That way everybody would be happy with what they got.
Okay, what do you think will become of the 13 colonies?
Well, with the way they're acting right now, I think that we're going to lose the war and lose everything we have. But if we unite, then I think we would have a great advantage. We could make a bigger army that could be stronger and have a bigger chance of winning.
Thank you, and back to you, Elizabeth.
That's all for tonight, folks. See you tomorrow on channel 274727. We'll be checking in on the bottles and describe to you what happened. Thank you, and good night.
Heidi here.
with your local channel 92 newscast. This just in. The French and Indian War has begun.
That's right, Heidi. Today our correspondents will be on the battlefield interviewing soldiers from the French and English sides. First we'll go to Emma Garden, interviewing a French soldier in action.
Thank you, Cheryl. I'm here with Jacques Rousseau, a French soldier from Paris, asking about the war. So, Jacques, what is the point of this war?
Well, Emma, my great country of France and the blasted country of England are fighting over the land of North America.
Very interesting. Now, why do you hate the English so much?
I don't really hate them exactly. I just want to blow them to smithereens.
All right, then. Back to you, Kelly.
Thank you, Jacques and Emma. Cheryl, did you know that the Native Americans took side of the French?
Oh, no, they didn't.
Oh, yes, they did.
Fine, whatever. Back to business. We're catching up with Victoria Hammertime, interviewing the English. To you, Victoria.
Hello, Cheryl. I'm talking to English soldier John Jacob Smith. So, John, how's the war so far?
Well, pretty good, Victoria, except for the fact that the Native Americans chose to side with those big-headed French mortals.
Oh, I see. Now, why exactly did they do this?
Well, exactly. We kind of tried to, steal their land, but still, they could have at least given us a chance.
Well, then, that's great. Back to you, Cheryl.
Thanks for the update, Victoria. Now, Heidi, why don't you introduce our special guest to our viewers?
Alrighty, Cheryl. Here with us is Naomi Wakapin, a Native American from the Iroquois tribe. Naomi, how has home life been since the war started? Well, Heidi, things have changed quite dramatically since we've taken the side of the French. Trade routes have been closed, boys and men have been leaving. We're all very concerned, really.
Wow, it must be really hard getting used to all those changes.
Well, yes, Cheryl, it is. English person, attack! Wait, no, stop, hey, you're ruining my newscast.
This is Cheryl Cherry and Victoria Hammertime. Sorry about the interruption. We're having some technical difficulties. We're now continuing our story about the French and Indian War.
We'll begin with showing you at home exactly where the war is taking place.
This is where the English colonists who live on farms should watch for Native Americans attack at any time. The shaded area where the English and French are fighting over.
That's right, Cheryl. Did you know that this war is planned to take over about 7 years?
Wow. Think of how many
The land is mine. Got it. Mine. England's going to win this war. We've got Prussia on our side now.
I don't think so. You English pretty boys better watch your farms before they get raided.
Oh yeah, just wait until George Washington catches you imbeciles off guard.
Imbeciles? Us? Ha! It's you and your color-coded army who should watch your back.
Well, it looks like we're out of time. This is Channel 92 News crew signing out. That's all, guys.